Welcome back to the Neil Oliver Show. Joined now by retired nurse teacher John Campbell to discuss concerns raised by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in the United States of America about seed oils and ultra-processed foods and the health consequences thereof. Dr. John, pleasure to see you there.
Thank you, Neil. Always good to be back.
I'm sure many people listening to this will already have seen the video that you posted in the last day or two, and I smiled wryly when you said, or you wished that Bobby Kennedy Jr. would come and fix Britain as well. But can you just go into a little bit more detail about how you feel about the stats that are now coming out from Casey and Callie Means and other commentators about the state of children's health, particularly in the United States?
It really is quite incredible, and I'm sure a lot of people saw that great speech and interview from Robert Kennedy Jr. when he joined on with Mr. Trump on that presidential ticket, and he used that great phrase, "Make America healthy again." And this is true. There was a point in the past, if we go back in the United Kingdom, if we go back into the United States, where the diet was healthy. But then food became more and more big business, more and more industrialized. And we moved away from natural food or unprocessed food onto processed foods, which might have had an ingredient or two added and maybe tinned, to ultra-processed foods, which are essentially industrial products. They're made in huge volumes in factories. And the food is formulated to come up with something that looks nice and tastes nice and people are going to go back to and might even be a little bit addictive. But the question is, how much are they prioritizing the health of this food rather than the benefit, the business benefit and the profits made from this food? There's no question these ultra-processed foods are responsible for a lot of the chronic disease epidemic, pandemic that we're all suffering from. The list is long but fairly well known: diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, strokes, heart attacks, joint problems.
I've heard it said, I think it might have been Casey Means actually in one of her recent broadcasts, saying that there is no more valuable commodity in the United States than a sick child because of the lifelong potential for costly treatment. Now that's some indictment, is it not, of the state of health of a preeminent first world country?
It really is hard, Neil, not to become cynical about these things, isn't it? I can understand that degree of cynicism. But if you have, in America at the moment, 1 to 4 year olds, these very young children, about 15% of those are quite significantly overweight. And of course, when you get through into adulthood, the percentages are way, way higher. Probably about 40% of American adults are actually obese. And again, we're not that far behind in the United Kingdom, at probably about 26%. Something like 11% of American adults have diabetes. Again, we're not too far behind, with probably about 6.5% diabetic in the UK at the moment, but about 500,000 being added to that every year. And this is actually costing diabetes alone, if that's all we take as diabetes, is costing the NHS about £10 billion per year. That could be spent on other things, probably about 10% of the NHS budget.
And that obviously
of course, the
means
NHS
that
spends quite a lot of money on pharmaceuticals.
The other side of that is that somebody's making 10 billion from all those diabetic children.
Yeah, well, indeed. That's diabetics altogether in the UK, but younger people are developing type 2 diabetes at a younger age. It does tend to become more prevalent with increasing age. But of course, then these people need quite significant management for the rest of their lives. And it's not just the diabetes itself. It causes peripheral vascular disease and amputations, the heart disease, the strokes, the disability. People can't make a living and people can't pay their taxes. You would think politicians would at least be more motivated by vested self-interest to increase tax revenue to fill this black hole that apparently has been discovered in our national income. But it's the serious point is that sick people do make a lot of money for political interests, and the fundamental I do feel needs to be asked. And Robert Kennedy is bold enough to be asking some of these questions. And I really wish him well for the United States. And if some of that rubs off us on the UK as well, where we're not far behind in terms of this epidemic of chronic diseases, that would be a really good thing.
surely it cannot be and must not be a controversial thing to demand healthy children and a healthy population. Dr. John Campbell, as always, you've given me lots to worry about, as you so often do. But,
sorry, Neil. Yeah,
but it's a necessary tonic. Thank you very much, Dr. John Campbell. We'll speak again soon. I'm joined now